Mr. Ting, you are recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Since that was the last of the budget trailer bills, I would just be remiss to not thank my vice chair of the Budget Committee from Big Bear. Thank you for his work during this great year. We had 5 amazing budget subcommittee chairs this year as well. And a big thank you to all of our Assembly budget staff for all their incredible work for putting together this amazing budget. So thank you.
Members, we are going to move to Senate third reading to dispense with the amendment item. This is file number 49. Senate Bill 775. That's Senate Bill 775 for the purpose of amendments. Clerk will read with amendments.
Senate Bill 775 with amendments by Assemblymember Bloom.
Mr. Bloom on the amendments.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. These floor amendments make technical and clarifying changes requested and agreed to by stakeholders, and there is no opposition to the bill. Therefore, I respectfully ask for your aye vote.
Thank you, Mr. Bloom. Seeing no discussion or debate on the item, and without objection, we may take a voice vote on the amendments. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed say nay. The ayes have it. The amendments are adopted. Bill is out to print and back on file. Members, we are going to move to the top of the file on concurrence. This is file item number 29, AB 1597. Clerk will read.
Assembly Bill 1597 by Assemblymember Mark Stone and others enacting the county jails.
Mr. Stone, you may open.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Members, this bill passed through this House and the Senate in bipartisan fashion. It is before us for concurrence merely because it adds a co-author from the Senate, a process perhaps we should look to change. I ask for your aye vote.
Thank you, Mr. Stone. Seeing no discussion or debate on the item, clerk will open the roll. All members vote who desire to vote. All members vote who desire to vote. All members vote who desire to vote. All members vote or desire to vote. The clerk will close the roll. Tally the vote. Ayes 52, noes 20. Senate amendments are concurred in. File items 31 through 36. That's 31 through 36 shall be continued. On Assembly third reading, file item 37, pass and retain. File item number 38, ACR 183. The clerk will read.
Assembly Concurrent Resolution 183 by Assemblymember Cooley relative to California State Parks Discovery Day.
Mr. Cooley, you may open on the resolution.
Good morning, Mr. Speaker and colleagues. I rise today to present ACR 183 to designate June 30th as California State Parks Discovery Day. California State Parks protect and preserve an unparalleled collection of culturally and environmentally sensitive sites, structures, habitats, including threatened plant and animal species, ancient Native American sites, and other historic artifacts. Our parks not only demonstrate the best of California's natural beauty and cultural heritage, but provide valuable spaces for recreation and escape. And of course, our nation's premier national park, Yosemite, started as a California state park. And this weekend, the President of the United States will be seeking some escape here in California in the wonders of Yosemite National Park. Our first park was conceived in 1862 when Captain Israel Raymond and Senator John Conness, who has a mountain named after him in the Sierras, wanted to have natural land areas at Yosemite set aside for the purpose of preservation and public enjoyment, a goal realized on June 30th, 1864, as President Abraham Lincoln signed the Yosemite Grant Act, which granted the Yosemite Valley and the Mariposa Big Tree Grove to the state of California. In honor of the creation of the California State Park System, I urge residents and visitors alike to explore and discover California's magnificent state parks. I request that the first roll be open for co-authors, and I ask and I vote.
Thank you, Mr. Cooley. Mr. Cooley is asking the first roll be open for co-authors on the resolution. Clerk will open the roll. Members, this is for co-authors adding on ACR 183. This is for co-authors. Members, the clerk will close the roll. There are 73 co-authors added. Without objection, we may take a voice vote on the resolution. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed say nay. The ayes have it. Resolution is adopted. Members, we're going to take up file item 39. ACR 173. Clerk will read.
Assembly Concurrent Resolution 173 by Assemblymember Cooley and others relative to Alzheimer's and Brain Awareness Month and the longest day.
Mr. Cooley, you may again open.
Yes, colleagues, Mr. Speaker, members, I rise today to present ACR 173, which designates June 2016 as Alzheimer's and Brain Awareness Month, designating Tuesday as the longest day. I want to say that it is poignant for me to stand and designate June in this way. In 2007, I lost my mom, Doris Lee Cooley, to Alzheimer's. Just about 10 days ago was the anniversary of the loss of my mom to this dreaded disease. In recent years, the cost of Alzheimer's care in California has grown exponentially, while funding for its treatment has actually fallen off a cliff. In recognizing June as Alzheimer's and Brain Awareness Month, we highlight the need for the availability of more resources for individuals with Alzheimer's, for their families, and for the study of this condition. We can also highlight this need by demonstrating our support. I urge members and staff to wear purple on Tuesday to stand in solidarity with representatives of the Alzheimer's Association who will be visiting you here in the Capitol to advocate for these families and these people. As more Californians are diagnosed each year with Alzheimer's, the need for action grows. And to bring greater attention to this terrible disease, it's important that we stand with the 1.6 million Californians who are affected by Alzheimer's and brain-related conditions. And I know I have others interested in this topic who will join me on the floor. I will ask that the first roll be open for co-authors.
Thank you, Mr. Cooley. Ms. Brown, you are recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I urge all of you to support. I urge members to support ACR 173. I, like my colleague from Sacramento, lost a grandparent to this disease. We will all be touched by this incurable disease as our loved ones age, especially here in California, where we have the most residents living with Alzheimer's than any other state. It's a disease that robs people their most precious possession, their memories. They lose the ability to carry on conversations and respond to their environments. They even lose the ability to know who their loved ones are. It's the 6th leading cause of death in the United States. Our committee, Aging and Long-Term Care, will be holding an informational hearing on the latest research come on Monday, the 20th. So I urge all of us to mark our calendars, to wear purple, as was said earlier, and spread global awareness of the disease and the need to find the cure. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Brown. Ms. Grove.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I, too, rise in support of this resolution. My mom is the strongest person I've ever met in my entire life, and I don't know if I'll get through this presentation. If I can't, I'll just sit down. But she raised 5 kids as a single mom, and all of us turned out pretty decent, right? None of us have been in jail. We've all gone on to successful careers, per se, which people would think in the world. And she raised all of us. She went back to high school, or went back to school at age 30 to get her high school diploma. She worked in the fields. I can remember as a little kid when she worked in the fields on the conveyor belts when they were sorting out the bell peppers in the farms. My brother and I would run underneath the conveyor belts because she couldn't afford daycare. And we'd pick up stuff that the people had dropped. She got her high school diploma at age 30, and she got an insurance license at the age of 39, and she started selling farmers insurance, and she made a life for all of us as all 5 of us as we grew up in her house as a single mom. And she got diagnosed with Alzheimer's when she was 76 years old. She's 87 today. And the disease is so desperately progressive that you go to a place where she doesn't recognize anybody anymore. She's ma'am, she calls us ma'am, my sister and I, that we take care of her and see her my sister, she lives with my sister, but I see her on the weekends. And it's a devastating disease, and it's just amazing how the brain works and what you have to do to understand, I guess, the mind. They say the mind is the most amazing, thing in our body, and I just think this disease is just so hard to understand and so hard to expect to deal with, especially from the caregiver side, because once the individual transitions to a place where they no longer recognize anything or no longer participate in society, I guess you'd say, the caregiver is still there making sure that loved one is taken care of. And I can tell you that one of the hardest things I've ever done is pick up my 2-year-old granddaughter around Thanksgiving break last year from preschool, and she had her turkey handprint, with a little turkey made out of it. All of us that have kids and grandkids know what that is. And then we went over to ADAKC and picked up my mom, and she had her turkey handprint that she had made that day. And to go from one of the most powerful people I've ever known in my life to someone that needs day-to-day care because of this particular disease is very difficult. So I support the resolution and funding and things that can figure out what causes this, because it is pretty dang devastating.
Thank you, Ms. Grove. Seeing no additional discussion on the resolution, Mr. Cooley, you may close.
Colleagues, as I close, thinking of my mom, Doris Lee Cooley, my purpose in these remarks that follow is not to be maudlin, not to pluck at the heartstrings, but actually just to celebrate the beauty of a person even afflicted by this disease. I was the baby of the family, and as the baby of the family in my whole upbringing, when I would come home from college, when I would bring my wife and my children down to my mom and dad's house, my mom always liked kissing me. I was her baby. And that was just one of those things. It's just a part of the family. I'm the baby. You're always the baby. And my mom was having difficulties in the home, eventually took advantage of respite care programs, which were outstanding and wonderful. eventually went into a memory care facility, was there 5 years. Very painful to visit her there, only because it's not the mom you knew, the loved one you knew. But I would watch her sitting there and just sitting on a bench with a lady friend, chatting away, incomprehensible to me, but just this great social need being met as she had care in that memory care facility. She eventually had some trouble, went into a skilled nursing facility, and I got the word she was in Salinas. And I remember my last visit, I went to see my mom, and she was in a grave condition. And I went in, and I'm just talking to my mom, who is close to death. And I said something to her, and I leaned over her, and her head popped right off the pillow to kiss me. And I more share that to say the value of this research, the value of support. The person we knew was not there, but actually they are there. They are present. They are greatly distorted perhaps by the disease, but the beauty of the person is there. And so this month, these resources, these programs are a way to say that we are not simply warehousing people as they fall ill, but we are caring for people. And so to that end, I recite again, very honored to bring this today, remembering Doris Lee Cooley, among many others affected.
Thank you, Mr. Cooley. Ms. Cooley, would you like co-authors on the resolution? Clerk will open the roll. Members, this is for co-authors on ACR 173. This is for co-authors on the resolution. Clerk will close the roll. There are 77 co-authors added. Without objection, we may take a voice vote on the resolution. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, say nay. The ayes have it. The resolution is adopted. Mr. Cooley, back to you for your guest introduction. Relative to the resolution we just adopted. Mr. Cooley.
Colleagues, I'm a bit in disarray. I have representatives of the Alzheimer's Association with me in the gallery today. Right here. And we will be joined in the Capitol on the next week as they come forth to advocate. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ms. Cooley. File items 40 through 48 pass and retain. We're also passing and retaining on file items 50 and 51. Members, in file order, file item 52 on Senate third reading is Senate Bill 1005. The clerk will read.
Senate Bill 1005 by Senator Jackson and others, enact relating to marriage.
Dr. Eggman, you may open.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker and members. I rise today to present SB 1005 that serves to update our statutes and codes to insert the word spouse and spouse where there was formerly man and wife. This and husband and wife. This protects LGBT people. This will also further clarify what it means that for domestic partners. This puts us in line with federal law. This has been a bipartisan bill with a lot of good support, and I respectfully ask for your aye vote.
Thank you, Dr. Eggman. I'm sorry, Ms. Campos, you are recognized.
Thank you. I rise in support of SB 1005. It shows our continued commitment as a state to ensure equal rights regardless of sex orientation and gender identity. By making a simple change in the language, it will have a significant impact to a community because equal means equal, and we are here to make sure that our laws reflect that. Colleagues, I respectfully ask for your aye vote.
Thank you, Ms. Campos. Seeing no additional discussion or debate on the item, Dr. Eggman, you may close if you wish.
Words have meanings. I respectfully ask for your aye vote.
Clerk will open the roll. All members vote who desire to vote. All members vote who desire to vote. All members vote who desire to vote. The clerk will close the roll. Tally the vote. Ayes 60. Noes 0. The measure passes. 53. Members, we are going to take up file item number 53. That is Senate Bill 1130. The clerk will read.
Senate Bill 1130 by Senator Wieckowski and others, enact relating to false advertising.
Mr. Stone, you may open.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker and members. County councils are all one of a list of government agencies who can take up false advertising claims against retailers and those who perpetrate false advertising. But one of the things that they cannot do is to demand information from the advertiser to substantiate the claims. And this is often seen as a way of saying, we have a claim against you. We see that there is some false advertising or some potential problem in our community. Show us that it's not. County councils are the only ones who can prosecute those crimes but cannot ask for that information. This bill merely allows them to ask for or demand that information. And this is Senator Wieckowski's bill. I ask for your aye vote.
Thank you, Mr. Stone. Seeing no discussion or debate on this item, clerk will open the roll. All members vote who desire to vote. 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 Clerk will close the roll. Tally the vote. Ayes 42, noes 25. The measure passes. File item 54, pass and retain. Moving to file item 55, SB 1281. Clerk will read.
Senate Bill 1281 by Senator Block, enact relating to law schools.
Thank you for your patience. Mr. Williams, you may open.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Members, Senator Block's bill, Senate Bill 1281, will require non-American Bar Association accredited law schools to disclose important information on tuition costs, class sizes, number of faculty, bar passage data, and employment outcomes for graduates. The ABA's Standard 509 requires law schools to post important disclosure information on their websites, including the type of information that we would put in this bill: tuition costs, class size, grants, scholarships, GPA, LSAT scores, demographic information, curriculum, attrition rates, and faculty information. The required disclosures in this bill closely parallel those required under ABA Standard 509. This has had no opposition and enjoyed unanimous bipartisan support thus far. I respectfully ask for an aye vote.
Thank you, Mr. Williams. See no discussion or debate on the item. Clerk will open the roll. All members vote who desire to vote. All members vote who desire to vote. All members vote who desire to vote. Clerk will close the roll, tally the vote. Ayes 74, no 0. The measure passes. Consent calendar members. Does any member wish to remove an item from the consent calendar? Seeing and hearing none, clerk will read the second-day consent calendar.
Senate Bill 875 by Senator Gaines, an act relating to marriage.
Clerk will open the roll on the consent calendar. All members vote who wish to vote. All members vote who wish to vote. All members vote who wish to vote. Consent calendar. Clerk will close the roll. Tally the vote. Ayes 75, no 0. Consent calendar is adopted. The clerk will read the remaining bills on the consent calendar.
Senate Bill 1087.
Ayes 75, no 0.
Senate Bill 1171.
Ayes 75, no 0.
Senate Bill 1284.
Ayes 75, no 0.
Senate Bill 1342.
Ayes 75, no 0.
Senate Concurrent Resolution 94.
Ayes 75, no 0.
And Senate Bill 1431.
Ayes 75, no 0. Members, we are waiting on one item from the Senate. Quorum call will remain in place. We are going to move to announcements and adjournments in memory while we wait for that Senate action. Members, please take your seats. Members, please take your seats.